This is the senior pastor of Community Missionary Baptist Church, the Reverend Dr. Oscar D. Ipps. Y'all see, isn't he humble? So I will tell you, I am Raquel Rocky Jones, and I'm the presiding judge of the 203rd Judicial District Court in downtown Dallas. And so it is very important that everybody understands what this is about today. Does everybody know what this is about today? Let me hear you. Let's say it together. Second chance. Let me hear it again. What is this about today? All right. And as Pastor Epps said, it's not really a second chance, it's another chance. Because as we all know, how many of us got up this morning and we had about 200 chances before we got here today, right? We were glad that our car started, or we're glad that whoever came to pick us up was able to do that, right? So let's talk about what's going to happen today. As Pastor Epps told you, this is a job and resource fair. So as we're still getting the employers set up, because there are going to be several that are going to be coming, and they're going to make sure to get your information and you get theirs. We can tell you over the past 2 years, people have actually gotten hired on the spot. Y'all don't hear me. They have gotten hired on the spot because everybody believes that if you were able to get up this morning and come to this event, then you deserve that opportunity, you deserve that chance. So let me thank each of y'all for getting up this morning and coming here. As a matter of fact, give yourself a hand. All right. So what we're going to do to get things started off, because we can't do this by ourselves. This is a group effort. And as our pastor often says, we can't do this alone. We have ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So what I would like to do is first, let me go ahead and I'm going to bring up Captain Perkins to give greetings from the DeSoto Police Department.
I'd like to thank everybody for showing up today and trying to come out and better yourself and find a better job, and for some folks just to find a job, because I know it's hard. It's a good thing. So, and I'd like to thank the Pastor Epps and the church here for putting this initiative on, because it's good. I had a friend call me the other day, long-term resident of DeSoto, and he said, I got a new friend, Perk. He said, this gentleman's been in trouble, and where did he go find a job at when he's got a criminal record? Well, I've been in this business for a long time, and I was kind of stunned. I said, I don't know how to tell you that. I don't know how to answer that question, you know? So, and then this thing come up, so I said, this really kind of a blessing. So, and I'll learn some vendors that will hire people with criminal records today, so next time somebody calls me, I'll know how to address that. So, thanks for coming out. Thank the church and the vendors for showing up. So, it's a blessing. Thank you.
All right. Before we go on further, we have a blue Altima. I do feel like I'm at the club and they got okay. So we have a blue Altima. It is license plate 23DV079. This car has been running for an hour. And they finally said nobody's coming back. So if you know someone who has a blue Altima and it is license plate 23DV079, your car is running. All right, now I would love to bring up our sheriff, the sheriff of Dallas County, Sheriff Miriam Brown.
Good morning, everyone. So glad to see everybody here today. Isn't this a privilege? And I've already heard the judge allude to this, that today represents another chance. Y'all have to go with me for just a minute. The word says that it is because of his mercies that we are not consumed. And that means that somebody granting us mercies allows us an opportunity to try it again and get it right. And so that's what today represents. Represents brand new mercies today for you. An opportunity for you to get it right. And let me share a secret with you. Regardless of who you talk to, regardless of where you go, regardless of what they tell you, none of us come here with all the answers, okay? All of us need a second chance. Some of us, me, have needed a third, a fourth, and a fifth. So I'm saying that to you today because I want you to be encouraged. I want you to have confidence as you approach these vendors here today who are those ones who are granting mercy. And I want you to pull up everything that you have within yourself. And I want you to know that even the person that you're looking at has had some shortcomings. And if they can do it, I can do it too. Okay? Okay, so that's what today is all about. I want to encourage you, and I suspect that there will be many of you who will leave out of here today who will find that second chance. And I encourage you, when you find that second chance, reach back for somebody else and give somebody else a second chance, right? Okay, thank y'all for coming out this morning. God bless. I'm Dallas County Sheriff Marion Brown. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, thank you. So for those of you really quick, we're going to have a few more greetings. But if you did not actually register, we have a lot of people we know that received the flyer, and you may have just shown up. So once we get done with this portion, if you would go to room 300, we want to make sure that we have you in our system, because here's the deal. Sometimes employers want to hire based on the information we collect, and we can actually send that information out to you and say, hey, guess what? Amazon is hiring, AT&T, stuff like that. So remember that if you have not registered, to go to room 300, and you can go ahead and register for us. All right, to bring more greetings, and it's perfect timing, we have one of our city council persons. We have Councilwoman Letitia Hughes. If you would please come up and bring greetings on behalf of the city.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so sorry I was late, but it's so good to see everybody. I am actually Mayor Pro Tem for the city of DeSoto, and I bring you greetings on behalf of our mayor, Rachel L. Proctor, who couldn't be here but wishes you well. We are so thankful and excited to see you, because guess what? You are important. The fact that you showed up amongst all these great people who put this fair on shows what humanitarian is all about. So we just want to say we wish you well, and we are here for you at any time that you need us. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So now that we've heard from, as we would like to say, a lot of our city officials, and just let me tell y'all how impressive and how overjoyed I am, because when we first started doing this, a lot of people were like, oh my God, is this going to be a situation where the sheriff and the police department, they're just going to come and they're going to start arresting people? No, that is not what this is. When you can get top law enforcement to come out and say, this is a good thing, this is why we do this, this is what community is. If nothing else, this is going to get bigger and better each year, but we can't do it without y'all. So thank you, thank you, thank you again. So let's move forward. So we have several people that are going to be here to assist and help today. So we're going to start talking to those people. So I would like to bring up, she's one of my favorite former judges, Judge Jennifer Bolito. She represents the Dallas County District Attorney's Office, and she'll bring greetings and be able to tell you what the DA's office does.
Good morning. Let's try it one more time. Good morning. I look out here and I see all these faces, and all I can say is God is good. I am so glad to be here. This is my third year participating in the Second Chance Job Fair, and I bring greetings to you from our district attorney, John Crusoe. And I will tell you, I've known Judge Crusoe for a long time. I used to be his public defender in his court, and he asked me when he took over to take over the DA's office appellate section. And so what I do at the appellate, as part of the appellate section, is we do all the expunctions, okay? We're talking about second chances here, so we're talking about expunctions and also non-disclosures. There are certain things in the law that you can do to clean up your record, to make sure that maybe you were arrested and the case was dismissed. Maybe it was never filed. Maybe you were placed on deferred. That might be a case that might be eligible for a non-disclosure. So we come here every year to give you information about our Expunction Expo, about our programs with the non-disclosure of your criminal record, and try to help you through that kind of complicated legal mess. So we're going to be here during the entire fair today. So if you have something on your criminal record that you think you can get erased, if you want to participate in our Expunction Expo, we will give you a free lawyer to help you through this situation. Come up to our table right here in the front and come see us. And like I said, this is my third time being here. I kind of look like a volunteer with my white top and my black pants on. I know what to wear. So come on over and see us, and it's good to see everyone this morning. Thank you.
And next we'll hear from the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. My name is Paul Blocker. I am the First Assistant Chief Public Defender for Dallas County, and I am here representing the Dallas County Public Defender's Office and our chief, or actually your chief public defender, Lynn Pride Richardson. And so the part we play in this is that Judge Belito mentioned, we will give you a free lawyer. Well, some of those lawyers happen to come from the Public Defender's Office. Not only do we have we been a partner in the Expunction Expo for the last 5 or 6 years, but I believe this is my second or third time here at this function as well. With the Dallas County Public Defender's Office, we believe in a holistic approach to indigent defense, not just criminal defense, but indigent defense. We're looking forward to when people come into our care, we want to make sure that they leave better off than when they first met us. So whatever brought a citizen accused into the criminal justice system, we look to address those needs, whether it's substance abuse, mental health, or sometimes it's just being a knucklehead. We try to address those issues and make sure that you're better off having encountered us than before you encountered us. We will do the petitions for expunction expos as well as prepare the proposed orders. But even before we get to that part, Dallas County has a myriad of specialty courts and problem-solving courts that lead towards an expunction. A lot of people don't know that. When you enter into these programs, there's generally a public defender that's assigned to these programs that once the participant successfully graduates, your record gets expunged. The arrest, all of that gets expunged. So that's also another way to get your record cleaned up by participating in those specialty court programs. But like Judge said, we'll be here. I'll be here for the duration of this program. And if you have any questions, ask. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blocker. Now I would like to bring up Judge Blacklock. I know y'all like all these judges. They're good people, I promise y'all. They're good people.
Hey guys, good morning. I'm Judge Blacklock, Municipal Court Judge for the City of Dallas. I was trying to hide in the back, but Judge Jones found me. I want to say I'm just so thankful to this church for this opportunity to be here. This is my second year here. You may be asking, what does the City of Dallas have to do as far as employment concern? I recognize that once you've gotten that job, background checks, things of that nature may be done. And if you have a pending citation with the City of Dallas, that may be a hindrance to employment, all right? And so if you have a pending obligation with the City of Dallas, feel free to come by and have a chat with me. I'll look you up to see if you do have something pending. If you do, or someone you know, if you fall into that category, I'll at least give you, I can't give you legal advice, but I can give you, at least put you on the pathway to letting you know what you need to do in order to get that taken care of. Last year I was here and I had opportunity to meet several people who were able to utilize what we do at the City of Dallas. We had one young lady who had several citations that were pending in regards to like a property, and she stopped by and I put her in contact with the proper people. She sent me an email back saying that all her cases were dismissed. And so you may not fall into that category, but feel free to stop by. Let's have a conversation. I'll look you up and I'll at least tell you, put you on the pathway as to what you need to do. I also preside over a Veterans Court as well. So if you know someone that has served, that has a pending citation, that's the only threshold, right? And if you know somebody that falls into that category, we have one of the best Veterans Courts, in my opinion, in the nation. I'm a little biased because I run it. But let's have a conversation about that as well. So I look forward to our interaction today. I wish you all the best of luck and have a good morning. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, I would like to bring up Professor Downs. And is your co-counsel going to join? Okay. So Professor Downs is actually one of the professors at UNT Law Center. But the awesome thing that I wanted her to be able to tell everybody, you can get help. They have a free legal clinic that a lot of people don't know exists. So Professor Downs, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you. Thank you, Judge. It is such a pleasure to be with you here today. I've got my co-counsel. I promised that co-counsel could at least say good morning, so I'm going to let her say good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
So my name is Professor Angela Downs, and I am Assistant Director of Experiential Education at the UNT Dallas College of Law. I have a number of my students here with me today. I want my students to stand up. All right, let's give our students a hand. So we've got student volunteers, and we also have one of our recently licensed attorneys, Jessica Page. I'm going to make you stand up. So we are very excited about our mission and focus, which is to train the next generation of lawyers. And as part of that mission, we're not only looking to ensure that we are diversifying the legal education, but that we are representing all and providing free legal services. So that's something that's available to you. Our legal services, we have 2 locations. They're called community lawyering centers. One's located in the Fraser area near south of Fair Park. The other is in downtown Dallas in the City Walk building. Everything is by appointment only, so please come by and get some information. We work on anything that you probably have happening to you. Like the Public Defender's Office, we too embrace a holistic model for legal services where we're really looking at the whole client. So if you have anything from a traffic ticket to a divorce, estate planning, anything that might be going on with you, we could probably provide those legal services to you. So please come by, talk to our students. We have a lot of information, and we are delighted to be here. Before I leave, I do want to thank Pastor Epps and everyone here at Community Missionary Baptist Church for your kind invitation for us to participate. This is something that's very important to us as a school, and that's really being out in the community and providing legal services to underserved populations. So to be here, we thank Judge Jones for her tireless work with putting this together. We're thrilled that we've been with the Second Chance Fair since its inception, and we are looking for many, many years to come. So thank you so much. Thank you for the privilege of being here, and we really look forward to talking to you. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Okay, so we are about to open up the actual panel discussion where you can actually get these questions answered, and more importantly, I will be able to ask more poignant questions that you can get these answers to, like how do I get my case expunged? Is my case even acceptable to be non-disclosed? But before we do that, it's 2 things I want to tell you. One, we have a clothing closet. So there are people that might say, hey, I want to interview for a job today, but I didn't come dressed the right way. We have women's clothing professional. We have men's clothing professional. Even if you don't want to put that suit on today or put those clothes on today, you're welcome to take it with you. Once again, as everyone has said, this is holistic. We want to be able to help you whether it's today or it's next week or next month. So if you want or need any kind of dress attire, we will have that for you. And lastly, if you have not registered, once again, go to room 300 and make sure that we have your information, because this doesn't just end today. We want to make sure that we're there when you need us and that we can contact you if we can help you further. So as we transition to our panelists, I want to thank both Captain Perkins as well as our sheriff, Marion Brown, for their time today because I know they have to go. And then I will allow the panelists to come to their seats. So we're going to go ahead and do that transition. If you would please go register. By the time you come back, we'll have our panelists in place and we'll get started. Thank you.
She's like, she needs it. She needs it.
Okay. Yeah, you.
About to actually call or text you and be like, I swear I'm coming. And so I was so
You got it.
like, okay.
Okay, so you got one?
I did.
Okay, you need this, so you got one.
I was just going to direct you. people would please return to the gym area, if you will return to the gym area, we're going to go ahead and get started with our panel. Okay, everyone. All right. I believe we have the microphones. Each microphone on each table should be on. All right, everybody. We are ready to get started. So, to start us off, we all kind of hear about what expunctions and non-disclosures are. So, I want to first start with Mr. Blocker, with Paul Blocker. So let me ask you this. In regards to a non-disclosure and expunctions, I know that Judge Bolito will be able to tell us more specifically about the qualifications and things like that, but what is the difference? So as a public defender, when people come to you and say, hey, I want this to be off my record if I do this plea, will it be off my record? What's the difference between a non-disclosure and an expunction?
Well, it comes down to what happened to the case. If a case was ultimately dismissed or you went to trial and found not guilty.
You got to hold it up closer. There you go. Yay.
So like back in my old rap days?
Yes,
just
like you're a
swallow
rapper.
the mic.
Yes.
The difference is how the case was disposed. So if the case was ultimately dismissed or the case was ultimately, you went to trial and you were found not guilty, that is eligible for an expunction. An expunction gets rid of the arrest, it gets rid of the fact that it was ever in the criminal justice system at all. It completely wipes it out of the system. Now, a non-disclosure happens when someone successfully completes a deferred adjudication probation. So once that has been successfully completed, you can have that sealed for all practical purposes to everyone except for law enforcement and certain other governmental entities such as education entities, and state entities. But for all practical purposes, if someone was to look you up once you have received an order of non-disclosure, they shouldn't see it. It should not be there, but it's for a limited purpose.
All right. And so if you would please pass the microphone to Judge Bolito, let me ask you this. Is everybody qualified for an expunction? Can everybody get an expunction?
No, unfortunately, not everybody can get an expunction. You know, a lot of times people call our office, or I talk to some people out at job fairs like this, and they say, listen, I served my time, I went to the penitentiary, I'm off parole, can I get that expunged? And the answer to that question is no. So that will still be on your record. The only way to get that off your record would be a pardon by the governor. And people are always like, oh, Governor Abbott, he's not going to listen to me. He does. I have sent some people that have successfully gotten a pardon because they've changed their lives. They've gotten out of prison. They're doing good things in the community, and they want to get, maybe a possession case off their record, or maybe they want to get a theft case, especially a theft case, because those can really affect your employment status. And all the governor can say is no, but he certainly can say yes too. Okay, so he's got people. They also ask the DA's office about pardons and whether or not we oppose pardons or not. And we take a look at what you've done since you've been out of prison to determine whether or not we're going to oppose a pardon or not. So that's something. If you've been to the penitentiary, that's an option that you can have. But really, the way to get the expunction, which is totally getting it off your record, is if you were arrested but the charge was never filed, it was no billed by the grand jury, or it was rejected or dismissed by the DA's office. If you got a not guilty from a jury, your Class Cs, if you have a bunch of Class Cs that you took deferred adjudication on, those can be expunged and totally taken off your record. If you were acquitted or found not guilty by a judge, a jury, or an appellate court, if you were convicted of a crime but later pardoned by the governor, we have to expunge all those. Or this one's kind of interesting too. If you were convicted before September the 1st, 2021 for unlawful carrying of a weapon, a gun, a firearm, we can expunge those now too, okay? That's new under the law, and I would probably tell you that they may try to fix that in the next legislature. So I would get your expunction quickly if you have a gun case that you want to try to get off your record. And I know that sometimes that keeps people from getting a job. One thing that people always ask about too is sometimes people ask if they can get current charges expunged. And the answer to that question is no, we have to have some sort of disposition before we can look at it.
All right, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to go over to this table. So Judge Blacklock, you talked about, and we even heard over here when people have Class C tickets, when they have the citations. First and foremost, how can that actually affect people in trying to get a job or even trying to move on with their life if they have lots of tickets? And I will tell you that I had the pleasure before I was a prosecutor, and at one point before I ran for judge, I had the opportunity to work at the city of Dallas and on the municipal side as a prosecutor, and I saw what happens when people go down and they wipe out hundreds of tickets. There have been people who have had 20 citations. 20. We've even had, what was that, the bulk docket, where people have up to 80 tickets. And yet the city of Dallas can go in and take care of those. So can you talk to us about how does that actually affect people?
Absolutely. So, is this on?
It's on.
So, it's just like you stated. So, if you receive a citation, which is a Class C misdemeanor, let's say it's a speeding violation that you just had left outstanding for a certain period of time, if you go to an interview or you are in the process of getting your job, you know, everybody knows that process takes time. You know, that employer may say, hey, we ran a background check. We saw that you have a pending warrant within the city of Dallas that needs to be taken care of first. And basically what I'm here just to say is that I'm not necessarily concerned about what it is that you owe. I'm more concerned about you getting that warrant removed. And a lot of people don't understand that if you have a warrant for your arrest and you're driving around, there's a lot of anxiety that's attached to that, right? And the Bible says be anxious for nothing. And so I just believe that if you have the opportunity, if you know that you fall into that category, you can literally walk into the city of Dallas, go directly to a courtroom, you can speak to a prosecutor and have that warrant, regardless of whatever you decide to do, have that warrant lifted. We also have community courts as well, so we have locations throughout the city of Dallas, north, east, south, and South Oak Cliff location as well, where you can also just walk in if you believe that you may have a reservation about going to court because you have a warrant for your arrest. You can come show up at that location. We'll take a look at it, and you possibly could get that resolved when you walk in. So we have a whole bunch of options. I have paperwork, so if you want to chat about it, we definitely can do that.
And if you would let Professor Downs have the microphone real quick. So I heard you indicate that we have students here and that also there is the legal clinic. So if you could explain a little bit more detail about the legal clinic, because we know that it isn't, not all people will be eligible. I guess that's the best way I can put that. So if you could explain a little bit further, and I know that the students will be able to talk to them as well, but
Absolutely.
if you could explain that.
Sure. Do you mind before, I'd like to just really pull the thread on what Judge just talked about the importance of Class C tickets. One of the things that we see just with the applicants and clients that we work with is that Class C tickets can really stop you in your tracks. And we know Class C is for driving, insurance, speeding, any kind of quality of life, a barking dog, trash, litter. Those types of cases, if you don't take care of those cases, they will take care of you. And so one of the things that we've done as a clinic is to really not only work with adults who have Class C tickets, but also work with juveniles, because we see that a lot of juveniles are getting Class C tickets for infractions that maybe when we were in school would have been considered just normal. And I'm talking about pushing, fighting, those kinds of cases. So the Class C tickets, they're a small thing, but they're a big thing, and they can stop you in your tracks. If you don't have a driver's license, it can be very difficult for you if you get to an employer and you've got to fill out paperwork and you don't have any kind of identification. It's really important to really think about that, and I'm going to encourage all of you to please go over, if you've got some Class C tickets, and just look and see what you can do. Okay, I want to get that kind of off my chest, but I want to turn my attention back to the question that Judge Jones asked me, and that is about how our clinics work. As I shared, we are taking a holistic approach, meaning that we really want to work with the whole client. So you would first call our clinic, you'd call our clinic phone number, and you would do a brief intake. We do have some restrictions, and they are based on a number of categories, but if you qualify after that brief phone screening, you would come in and you would meet with a student who would be under the supervision of a licensed attorney. We have 5 attorneys who work in our clinics, and everything that our students do is under the supervision of licensed attorneys. So you can be sure that any work product, anything that we do has been reviewed by the students' work has been reviewed by a licensed attorney. So that's the process. It's quick, it's easy. Call us, we'd love to help. And as I said, we work on any number of legal matters, and we have worked with the district attorney's office, the public defender's office, as well as the City of Dallas Municipal Court on the Expunction Expo since its inception. And we're actually very pleased to continue that work this year for this year's Expunction Expo. Last year, our students worked on almost 200 cases, I think. And there was a huge number of applicants last year, but for our students, I think it was a reality check for them to see the impact that having these cases expunged can have for the community. Okay, well, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I want to turn now to Director Patrick. So I don't know if some people were able to get this form. So what we were able to do this year, which we appreciate, being able to partner with the Director of Probation. So the Dallas County Probation Department is one of the biggest probation offices in the state. Is that correct? And so what we were able to do is if you know, or if you knew someone, and you still got time to call them, that if they were able to come up here, they will get credit for community service. They will get credit for that. As a matter of fact, Director Patrick came up with the idea with me, and I was like, well, how are we going to pull this off? So if you see here with each employer that you just stop by and visit, nobody says you have to get a job. Nobody says that you have to actually sit through the interview. But if you go by to each of these tables, for every person that you get to sign to say they stopped by my table, there will be 1 hour of community service wiped out and gone, okay? And I did one better because Director Patrick was like, well, you know, Judge, I think this is a good opportunity. I said, well, if I have people that come from the 203rd, I'm willing to wipe out all their community service. Now, don't go get no case so you can get in my court. Don't do that, okay? But we are doing this in an effort to show people that everybody is not against what's going on in people's past and people's history. If we can't try and right that ship right now, then who is going to help if we can't all do it together? So, Director Patrick, what I wanted to ask you is when it comes to probation, just because a person is on probation or just because they may have that in their history, what is it that your office has been doing to try and help give people this second chance, another chance? How does that work?
Well, Judge, I think the attitude of looking at somebody, I mean, let's be honest, I'm a recovering knucklehead every day, as you put it, Mr. Blocker. So, I mean, I'm the recipient of second chances, third chances, and multiple chances all the time. So that's what our department really is there for. The goal of probation is not, I mean, it's not to put the thumb on people and catch them when they do wrong. The goal is to actually, we're one of those few places where we don't want to see repeat customers. If you don't come back to us, that's success. So our goal is to help you get to a place where, you're not on supervision. Getting a job, that is a big hurdle for sometimes with people that have been involved with the justice system. So that's our goal. That's our attitude. And this is just one way. If you go and talk to employers and find out, oh wow, I really can get a job there, instead of just assuming that, okay, well they won't employ me because I've got this DWI, I've got this on my record. If you just go and talk to them, you'll find out information, and you get the community service as well. So I would encourage you. We all know. I know people in my family that have been on or are on community supervision. I'm not supervising them, Judge. But if you know them, pick up the phone. It's a short drive. I've got the forms right there. All we really want them to do is touch base with these employers. I don't care if they get a job. I don't care if they do an interview. If they go and speak to an employer, I'll give them an hour, and apparently Judge will do even more than that. So thank y'all very much, and thank y'all for asking me to be here.
Thank you. So, yay. So we all know that sometimes, even if your case can't be expunged or it can't be non-disclosed, and we have people who are not on probation or even on parole. That's why I asked Ms. Manning from the Miles of Freedom to come, so she could explain to us exactly what Miles of Freedom is. So I will let her explain further, but sometimes people who, like I said, they are not in the criminal justice system anymore, but they need help re-entering into society, whether that is help with trying to get possibly some kind of transitional housing, trying to get help with getting their driver's license, trying to get help with getting benefits restarted. There is a whole organization and community involvement that will help you. And so Ms. Manning will tell us more about Richard Miles, who, as we will say, those of us in the criminal justice system know that he was wrongly convicted and served, 25 years? Served 25 years for a crime he did not commit. And so once he was released, and once, as the government should have, as they paid him because of all those years he was incarcerated illegally, he took that money, turned it around, and opened the Miles of Freedom. So if anybody who's on probation or off probation, or anybody who's coming out of prison, they can go to this organization. They can help them with resumes, they can help them get jobs, and once again, maybe help them find some transitional housing. So if Ms. Manning, if you could talk to us about the Miles of Freedom.
Hello. I'm Destiny, and I'm the case manager at Miles of Freedom. Right now, I'm the lead case manager. I make sure that we work with the homeless and the reincarceration community. So if you're looking for housing, you're looking for your IDs, you're looking to get booked for these appointments, unfortunately, DPS is not on a walk-in process right now. So at least we're able to, I, at this time, am able to go online, book these appointments, get you your DPS. Now, what's good about it is that you can book out, or once you go into the system and you're ready to reschedule, then sometimes it takes like a week to get rescheduled. Some people are canceling appointments, some people are missing appointments. I make sure you give me a call, you can send me a text message, Destiny, please reschedule me this week. I'm going to go in and look. I just need your social security number, which is very much secured in our office with any other documents that anybody needs to secure, because we work with the homeless population, so they don't have anywhere to go. So getting the jobs, all of that's important to start with, your ID or your driver's license as well. And all of these agencies that are in here now, I'm able to connect you to as well. They are by email, if not by phone as well. So if you can't reach them, you just remember to come to us, you reach out to us. Our food pantry is available, housing resources, Section 8, getting on the list. If you can't get to the application, I'm able to do that application for you. I'll do it over the phone if I have to. So it's not like if you can't get on the bus or you can't get dropped off, don't let that be your barrier, because you're able to send a text message to just one person, which is me, And I'm definitely checking my messages on a daily basis because I have to be the lead case manager right now so that Mr. Miles, who goes out to speaks at all of these events himself due to his incarceration, which is definitely not something we want to continue happening. Thank God for Mrs. Jones to have this fair, because this information wouldn't even be available to more than half the people in here, because a quarter of y'all might not even be able to get to half of these places. So at least I'm able to refer you to get these bus passes, get transportation. If you just got released yesterday, you have the opportunity to file Social Security. You have 45 days to do it. It is a time period. Just because you've been incarcerated, they do give you that option. As long as you're, let's just say, on top of the paperwork within that 45 days. Everybody qualifies. It doesn't matter. As long as you know what to get, when to get it, and how to get it. You need to get to transitional housing. You want to get to a shelter. There are age limits. There are some restrictions, but those are things that I need to make sure to do on a daily basis to match you with the proper organizations that are going to place you, put you there, and continue to refer you out if I am not able to, which I am able to do on a daily basis. We're open from 9 to 3, Monday through Friday, and so is our pantry besides Fridays. And then we reach out to the Park South YMCA on Saturdays as well, and we have our food pantry there. We give out our referrals there as needed. Our coordinator, Miss Crystal, also very dependable. Anything you need to get to, you can't get to, let's just say, Miles of Freedom Monday through Friday. You go to Park YMCA on Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning, you ask for Miss Crystal Petty, and she'll let you know how to get to us. If not, give you the paperwork, phone number, my number, cell phone, text message, email. As long as you're able to reach out, I'm going to reach back out to you as well, because reentry is very important for us all, because without us, what is there to progress is where I'm at. So we're not just the bottom of the barrel. So let's just remember that.
All right, so thank you. So this becomes the point in our program, ladies and gentlemen. There may be some questions that somebody else out there has, not just you. It might be a question that you have that can help all of us in here. So we will give a few moments for anyone that has a question. And it's okay if you come up to the mic, or even if at your seat you say, I'm asking a question for a friend. That's okay too. It does not necessarily. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So I'll repeat it, but with most people, if you have that question, we have a microphone right here so everybody can hear it, and we'll even move that microphone closer if we need to. But this gentleman's question was that he actually reapplied for his driver's license on with DPS? Oh. So he bought an ID online, right? So how does that even work? Oh, okay.
Scam, FYI.
Put the mic up. Go ahead.
Now, during COVID, it was something that you were able to do, but you had to send in your paperwork, and it wasn't copies. It was actual original documents. Was that what you did?
I lost my iPhone. I had lost my iPhone, and when I lost my iPhone, my email was backed up. So when I called, gave them all my information, they never found it. My ID was lost. I'm from out of town, so it's been a big hassle.
So you're going to have to rebook because they're not resending these documents to us.
So what about the $50 I paid?
And it's not refundable.
But here's the good part. You're here today. So we are going to try and help that. So even if you don't get that $50 back, I bet you we can get you on the path to getting that driver's license the right way. Okay? Good question. Thank you. Anybody else? Y'all are sure being real quiet today. Do y'all realize all this legal stuff up here? Yes, sir.
And so I have an aggravated charge, and there was a minimum of 2 years. And I'm just wondering if the majority of the other programs have those tighter restrictions, or is it system broad, or whether I can get some help somewhere else.
So is anybody familiar with Project Restart? Are any of y'all familiar with that?
They're related to Project Innocence.
Okay, they're related to the Innocence Project?
Yes.
So you're saying that it was an aggravated assault charge. Do you know if it was, what happened with it? Was it dismissed? Did you have to serve any time for it? Anything like that?
Yeah, I got incarcerated. It's about 14 months old. I just got released in 22, and I went to the City of Dallas refresh program, and they were saying they had a 2-year minimum on aggravated charges.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
just wondering, is that the standard everywhere else?
Good question. So I don't know if this would go for Paul or Judge Bolito. Basically, the question is, it was an aggravated charge. He served time for it, but Project One was trying to maybe get it exonerated. I mean, what were they trying to do for you? Okay, okay. Okay, so basically the question is, and I think that's a general question, with most aggravated charges, aggravated cases, what can be done with those?
Well, there are really two things that are a problem. Number one is the penitentiary time, and then also the aggravated charge. So you would not be eligible for either an expunction or a non-disclosure. So, I mean, that's just the answer.
I think Paul, and then you also said Oklahoma, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
well, yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Now, with that stated, because your issue is out of Oklahoma, that's way outside of our jurisdiction. But I had a good friend who used to work for the city of Dallas. He now works for South Dallas Behavioral Health. And he was a part of a program that sounds a lot like what you're talking about with the city of Dallas. And there were certain stipulations on that program. He was always asking me if I had current clients, former clients who were on probation or whatever the case may be, to place them with jobs. So there is a program with the city of Dallas that is along the lines of what you're talking about, but I really don't know what their stipulations are.
So
And,
go ahead,
and I'm
Paul.
sorry. And also, there are a number of employers who will hire those who are formerly incarcerated and recently released. I know that adult probation, Mr. Patrick, he probably keeps a list of employers who will hire those who are either currently on paper or who have been recently released.
Yeah, and this might be a good one for Ms. Manning if you stop at her table, because that is reentry. What you're talking about is reentry. And the whole point with most of the employers that we have out here, their whole point is to know that everybody in here may have something, okay? We don't even have to know in this big group or crowd what it is. Just the fact that we know there may be something in your history, whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor, those employers are still ready to hire, does not matter, okay? Just understand, does not matter. I know we have to wrap up. I see that there is one more question right here. And before we take that last question, let me explain to everybody where the people are you may need. So we have Miles of Freedom. Raise your hand. Yay, they're over there in the corner. No. Where? I mean, no, I thought, where's your table, though?
Oh, it's right here next to this.
Okay, all right, thank you. I was like, wait a minute now. I'm sorry, they looking at me like, who, what? Okay. Right here. But we tried to get most of them in a good area that you'll be able to find them. So you have Miles of Freedom. You have the district attorney's office who can talk to you about the expunctions. We have the director of probation, who he will be set up here. We have a table for the public defender's office. We also have a table for the city of Dallas. So if y'all go see these people, you can ask them your personal questions. I can't impress upon you enough how you can get, a lot of us can't give legal advice. I mean, I am a lawyer, I'm an attorney, but I'm a judge, so I cannot give legal advice, nor can these people necessarily give you legal advice personally where they say, hey, go do this, go do that. But what they can do is tell you how to get it completed, and maybe put you in touch with who you need to be in touch with. In some cases, Judge Blacklock was able to go on his computer and go, oh, these are so old, we can handle this and do something with this, and you know right then. So avail yourself to these people. How often can it be that you get one-on-one contact with some of these folk, and one, they not trying to put cuffs on you, right? Amen. They ain't trying to put you somewhere you don't want to be, amen. But, you know, you could at least go to them and ask those questions, and maybe if we can't answer it today, we can get that for you in the future. So let me get this last question, and then we will tell you how we're going to proceed. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, good question. So he said, it says 10 years they can go back. I think you're getting that confused with credit. So I said, I think you're getting that confused with credit. Now, I'm not trying to be funny. I say that because let's say a person has a, and I'm going to throw it out here, a person has a conviction for murder. That's never going to go away. You know what? Oh, no, I'm just saying in general, okay? Or we'll even take a theft, all right? And you heard us saying, some cases, whether it's a theft or a DWI, in my court, I tell them that's the gift to keep on giving. And that's sad because, you know, with theft cases, they can keep enhancing based on that. So I think that's what we're kind of talking about. But here's the good thing. Here's the good thing for you. It doesn't automatically go away. Some of this stuff you have to take an action. And that's what we're doing today. So let's say that stuff you said that was like 10 years or something like that. That's why you come talk to these people, because you will be amazed how many people are qualified for that stuff to be non-disclosed or to be gone. But you probably didn't even know that that opportunity was out there. So that's what we're trying to do so that you can find out, because you're right, in a lot of these cases, y'all, this stuff should have been gone off your record. Exactly, it will stop you from getting a job. And that's what we're going to try to fix today. So you got a couple of tables you got to go to, right? All right. Okay, everybody, so this is what we're going to do now. This is what we're going to do now. If you have not registered, you will still have the opportunity to register. But it's one other thing that we need to talk about. So we've talked about trying to get your criminal history cleared up and making sure people can get a job because you might have some criminal things. But here's another thing we got to talk about. You also need to worry about what? Getting that credit repaired, right? Because they go hand in hand. Sometimes employers may not hire you because they look and they see your credit isn't that good, right? So at 11 o'clock, right up these stairs, you see this young man waving his hand? There you go, thank you. At 11 o'clock, from 11 to 11:30, we have Miss Tanika Donald. They are going to be doing a credit repair seminar. Not only were they doing a credit repair seminar to help people who may have had some things on their history, not just criminal, but some things on your history that you didn't even know existed with your credit, that will also springboard into helping you into what? Home ownership. So they have programs for people who may have some things on their background that they didn't know how to get cleaned up, they didn't know how to get cleared up, and that the homeowner process can still happen, and they will walk you through that. So at 11 o'clock, that's what we'll be doing upstairs. So if there's nothing further, if you have any questions or you still need some more instructions, you can find anyone that has the white shirt on with the black pants, other than Judge Bolito. But all the rest of us, you can ask any of the volunteers around here. We will assist you. We will get you to where you need to be. So just understand at 11 o'clock, you can go upstairs, get the information about the credit repair and the program that they even had with assistance in down payments on houses. So make sure you do that at 11 o'clock. Also, remember, if you don't need the clothing today, you are free to go and get the clothing and take it with you, because you might have that job interview next week. You might need that long button-down shirt. So just make sure that you make yourself available to those things. If there is nothing further, we will open the job fair. Please go talk to these job seekers. Go talk to the employers and talk to all these resources. Thank you.